Oh my god!
There it is, look.
Oh my gosh, that whale is so cool. Wow, this is my first whale out there, by the way.
Kind of far away, but we're gonna get close. Did you see it? Oh! Whoa!
That's so cool. Look, it's going. Hey, I just...
Hopefully I won't drop this phone in the water.
You can see either behind the sanctuary up ahead of us or behind us that bright green color, right just when you look into the water. And that's the true color of the water because of that phytoplankton. So you wouldn't necessarily know it unless you were looking at a chart or realized where you were. But again, the topography or the bathymetry, the land underwater, it changes quite a bit, very rapidly. It can go from about 300 feet to 100 feet very, very quickly. And that marks Stellwagen Bank. And again, it's this underwater mountain. Left side. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Right behind, swimming back behind us about 6 o'clock. Alright, you notice that whale has a lot of white on top of her dorsal fin. There's another one behind her.
Oh yes it
Going
is.
down on the diet. I say her, we just happen to know that this particular whale is female.
See it, Drake? Wow.
Oh my god. Oh my
Wow.
god.
That's awesome.
Did you see that?
Alright, so a very cool look to start. So all the whales that we've seen so far are humpback whales. The black skin, the dorsal fin on their back. And when they arch their back up nice and high like that, a lot of times that indicates that they're going down in a bit of a deeper dive. And so sometimes they'll bring their fluke or their tail right up out of the water. Still up. About 4 o'clock.
Did you see it, Drake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh my gosh. These are humpback whales.
Oh. Look at that. Wow. Oh, the tail, look. Whoa.
Got a good look at that white fluke.
Look, that one is coming up. Look at that. Oh!
Oh. Look at that.
Coming right up. That better not drop your phone.
I know. See it there, look.
Oh my god! See the same one. Mom, it looks like you're about to drop your phone.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh!
Look at the tail. There it goes.
Right here. When they lift their tail up out of the water like that, it usually indicates that they'll be beneath the surface for a little bit On average, it's about 4 to 6 minutes. Certainly could be longer, could be less. Just depends on the behavior that they're doing. So of course they're here primarily to eat. Sometimes the fish is all the way at the bottom. You have to dig them out of the sand, and sometimes a little bit higher in the water column, so their dives are a little bit quicker.
Oh, there was a whale right over there.
Look at right here.
So I mentioned that we don't tag the whales, or there's no technology that we use to locate them. And so in the very northwest corner of Stellwagen Bank, that underwater plateau, I'm going to get out there, and I've really been scanning the horizon the whole time. But we also,
Whoa.
10 o'clock, a big lunge from one of those whales. Alright, so what I want you to do is not the green water on the right side here, but just kind of look for a circle of green. So what that whale did was it exhaled, it breathed underwater, sent all those air bubbles up, and it's a tool that they use to catch fish. So it's possible that we could see that kind of closer to our boat now. So in addition for the whale to come to the surface, be on the lookout for those bubble pads.
Look at that, see it? Oh, look at the tail.
Oh, yeah, I just saw another.
They're starting to say we don't tag them to study them. Most of what we know about humpback whales is by observation and also what we call photo identification. So you might have noticed that the whale that was closest to us, she had a lot of white on top of her dorsal fin, and the other one did not. They both have mostly white flukes with a bit of black in the middle. And what humpback whale flukes, they're unique to each individual. It's a lot like a fingerprint. Those markings don't change over the course of the whale's life. So what we'll
right
do is
there.
we'll take a photo of that fluke or their tail.
Just saw one. There it is.
Somebody's over there at 1 o'clock. I don't think that's the whale that I'm talking about here closest to us. Let's see where she comes up.
Yeah. Look at there's a whale right. Look at the tails coming up.
Don't drop your phone. Yeah.
So with the humpbacks, like I said, their markings are unique. And so instead of a catalog number, we give them names based on those markings on their fluke, just because it's simply easier to remember than a catalog number. So it's not a person's name or a pet name or a gender-specific name. Instead, it's sort of like when we look out into the big puffy clouds and use our imagination. This all started with this particular whale that we just watched dive.
I see.
That whale with the white on top of her dorsal fin, it's pretty unique. Most of the humpbacks have at least mostly black dorsal fins. And there was a fisherman who would come out on a regular basis, kind of like the fishermen you can see scattered around here. And you notice that this particular whale, it kind of looked like she had salt sprinkled on her back. So he just started calling her Salt. And at the time, she was swimming with another whale, so he called that one Pepper. And the researchers caught on. They thought that's a lot easier than trying to remember these catalog numbers, and been naming whales like that ever since. If you look way off in the distance at 8 o'clock, there's another whale. There's a boat on the horizon. It's like just to the left, and you would know that it's not Salt just because of the distance. But definitely you guys, a lot of whales out here today.
Going back.
Somebody's up at 1 o'clock.
See that, Drake?
Whoa. Look how we are hiding out.
there, kind of towards 4 o'clock. And again, you can tell because of that white in the dorsal fin. So this is the whale, at least well, we saw a minute ago. This is the whale that was blowing that big bubble cloud. So again, keep your eyes open for that.
Oh yay! Down one.
Whoa.
Tail.
Nice tail action. There you go.
Obviously, like I said, they come here to feed. So they're feeding on these small fish that are about the size of a hot dog. They're not that big.
There's one right here.
And these baleen whales, what they'll do is they'll take a huge gulp of water and fish. But they don't swallow any of that water, and it doesn't come out the blowhole. Instead, when they close their mouth, they use their tongue and they push all that water out of their mouth. And then that baleen, these hundreds and hundreds of plates, or like layers, they filter the water out, and then the fish are just trapped inside the mouth to be swallowed by the whale. So we're very lucky to be seeing a few different whales in the area, but you notice they're pretty spread out, so we're not seeing a pod. All baleen whales, including the humpback whales, are solitary, meaning that they spend the majority of their lives by themselves. Then when you see a bunch of them in an area like this, kind of like if you or I to go to a restaurant and you end up at the same spot as other people, but you didn't really go there with them, you're all at your own table. So the more fish, the more whales you're likely to have in one particular area. Now, salt was first identified in 1976. But we don't know exactly how old she is. She wasn't seen as a calf with her mom. So she was at the very least about a year and a half old. There's really no way to tell just by looking at a whale how old they are. When you see a calf, you know that they stayed with their mom for about a year, so you at least have an idea. Alright, keep your eyes at 1 o'clock. Have been a number of biopsy studies, so looking at the skin samples and blubber samples, and so researchers have been able to come up with a general age for a handful of whales. And so they're able to age a whale within about 2.9 years of accuracy. So it's estimated that Salt is about 46 years old. We do know that she's female because she has been seen with a number of calves over time, and it's only the moms that take care of those calves. Somebody's over there at 9 o'clock. We have, I think somebody is ahead of us. I just turned and saw a little ripple in the water. There you are.
See it right here, Drakey? Look.
So they're just staying super.
So the green patches on the outside, those are the whale's flippers. They're like the equivalent of our arms. And you get a good look at the two blowholes right there, side by side. Those are the equivalents of our nose.
It's like a basketball.
So their flippers are actually white, and they just look green to us because of the phytoplankton.
There's another one.
Oh, three. One breached out there.
Big lunge out beyond them.
Alex, you're getting pretty big for new people.
We just. You just got to see 3, Alex.
How much ever he gets, how much taller is he on his own?
Drake, you see it, buddy?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. What?
Technical term.
They're all close to each other. All 3. Oh my
Isn't that
god.
exciting?
It's nice and close.
So this is what's closest to us. Watch real closely. Look at the base of its tail. It's gonna.
Wow.
So like where the fluke come out right there.
Flip it
Kind of
up.
all
Flip it
twisted
up.
and mangled.
Yeah.
Oh, I was entangled as a cat. Watch for this one.
This is a pond.
You want to get sprayed with whales?
Whoa.
Whoa.
So most of the time we name them based on marks on the tail. We
So
haven't had like a
awesome.
clear look at one to give you an example.
Nice and close, Drake, huh?
Here,
They're coming out. They
means
just
music.
Back there. Cross talk.
All the way in the
Oh, look at
distance.
And the marks on her fluke, they really do. It looks like a sheet of music.
Taily.
Parallel lines and music notes. This particular
we're back
whale
to
that just
green.
dove closest to us,
Okay.
that's a
Do you
whale
wanna
named
readjust?
Arroyo.
Do we need a readjustment here? Because I think you're down.
She was given that name because of that injury
No,
to her
you
tail
can sit on my
stalk.
leg.
Again,
Don't.
the idea of naming
You
is
sit
to
on my leg.
remember
My
who
leg
the
goes up
rest
here. You sit on my leg. Good.
So that is the most noticeable feature on her. She was born in 2009. It's kind of funny.
You see how
kind of
close
easy
that
to
was?
remember that
Yeah.
stat.
I got some
I want to
good.
know how old she is.
When you have whales that come back as a cat, they don't get their name right away.
She's so
That's because the first couple of years are usually the most difficult for a cat, and they don't always return.
No, it's moving next to us.
But also,
it's
their
shadow.
fluke patterns can change a bit. Kind of like how babies' hair and eyes, they get darker over time usually. Same thing with the whales, their coloration can change.
I don't know.
Awesome.
What's awesome?
I found a whale shadow.
Whale.
Look.
So this whale, her mom's name was Rapier,
See it?
and she was born in 2009. So the code name would be Rapier 2009 cat. And it's all the different naturalists and researchers in the area who use the same names. And then when you have a cat or an unknown whale who comes in, we all work together. Take a look at the markings in the fluke and submit our ideas. And then vote on whichever one makes the most sense. But sometimes people can't agree on a name, and the option gets voted to just pass over naming a particular whale until the next round. And that happened to this poor
You
whale
hit the jackpot right there.
twice, 2 different sessions.
What is a jackpot?
There was just a
That means
marking
that
that
it
nobody
really
really
couldn't have gotten
agreed
any better
upon
than
that
that.
was very obvious. So she just had that name for
We're so close.
That was
until
pretty cool, huh?
2017.
Yeah, they'll come back.
I think so. That's why we're going real slow. It's gonna take-
There's one right there.
Yeah, big lunge.
But you gotta keep
So
watching.
she was
'cause we
given
don't
this
know where
code
it's
name. She
gonna
didn't have a
pop
name
up
for the longest time. And then she came back with a cat.
Alex,
So then you
where are your
had
legs?
Rapier 09
I
cat,
don't like your legs there.
2017 cat. We had a
Just
special naming
let your
session
legs.
just for
Put
this
your weight on my
particular
leg,
whale,
okay?
so that we didn't have to say that every time we saw
If
her.
something happens, I just want to make sure you don't fall over, okay? Can you?
Something happened.
We've been
Yeah,
watching
can you
the
get
same
on my leg?
whales year after year.
All right.
Pretty familiar with whales that frequent Stellwagen Bay. And then there are others that like to be
There's
at
one right
Hampshire,
there.
there are others
Alex.
like Maine, some Nova Scotia.
Big one.
Oh, right next to us at 8 o'clock.
There it is. You see it,
So all
Alex?
that weight on the dorsal fin, you remember? So again,
sides.
Oh, it's moving over
As salt comes up, look at the very top of the head and the mouth. And you see that kind of light patch and it's kind of orange.
You think they're putting on a show for us?
Yes.
Seems to be.
That's from that behavior of rubbing their jaws into the sand. And then sometimes there's debris or rocks and shells.
What? No, 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 no. Now we're whale watching.
Scrapes
We're
up
on our
their
way back.
jaw.
It's not eating time. No, it's watching time. Oh my gosh, look at him.
Scrapes up their jaw, leaves those abrasions. And with the whales, it seems to be on the left side or the right side. On about 80% of the humpbacks, that abrasions are on the right side. The remaining 20% is on the left. And that's the same ratio of handedness for people.
Yes. Is this super cool?
Drake, did you see that?
Is this
That was
like the best day
amazing.
ever?
Did you see the tail come out?
Hey, buddy.
Nice and close.
What?
I guess that. Drake,
Come here.
tell me where you're going first. Over there? All right.
All right, first, sanitize. It's my sanitizer. So rub, rub, rub. 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So all these different particular feeding grounds are all considered to be part of the same Gulf Mead population, or the same area of Gulf Mead, such as the Bay of Fundy or
There's one, Jake.
Right behind you, Alex.
Right there.
Right there.
So all these particular whales, how their preference in feeding grounds, they will go from one to another. There are about 850 humpbacks
Bacon.
in this particular
Bacon.
population.
There's one.
They're
He's right there. Look at him. Look at him. Tail, tail.
Sure. Break it open.
And then they migrate south. And most of the whales that we see here on the Dominican, or here, go to the Dominican,
Oh, I'll eat it on the way back then.
area northeast called silverman.
One more.
Takes a while to get out here, so we'll take a while.
They're known to be where they mate and where the calves are born.
There's plenty of time. Nothing to see on the back.
Yeah.
About nice, clear Caribbean water.
It's like 20 degrees hotter, like standing still.
And high visibility, and that's because there's very little plankton. Warm water doesn't hold as much oxygen as cold water. There's very little plankton, very little fish. And so these humpbacks are fasting for the entire time that they're there. It's important for them to eat as much as they possibly can. They're building up thick layers of blubber or fat on their bodies.
That's what I do.
Keeps them warm, but it also
Getting ready.
sustains them over the course
For my
of
trip
the
down south.
winter. A lot of times in the early spring they'll come up and they're very skinny. By their migration south, they're noticeably wider.
I know. We can't get some out of your car.
Yeah, like
Can't grow that.
if there was a waistline, it'd be 60. Or
Algae. I mean, it was like, we live on algae, right? I don't know if we can eat it.
Right side. Hello.
Oh, wait.
Alex. My favorite thing about this is salt.
This is very close. Alex.
Some partner shifting here. So it's really, really hard to see, but if you look just forward of the flipper, just to the left, you might get a peek at the eye.
No.
nothing to do with you driving too close to a whale. Sometimes we come out here and, especially like recreational boaters, they're not respectful of them at all.
Wow.
Watch for a fluke.
Whoa.
You. That's so. Wait, there's one. Wait, there's still up.
Like I said, sometimes people come out here, and vessel strikes are one of the biggest threats to them. So for us to have such an amazing look by just sitting here and letting them do what they want to do.
Look, there's one way out there too.
Watch for those flukes.
Did that one just swim all the way out there?
That was so.
I got
Was that awesome, Drake, or what?
That was me. We all ran over to see that.
So close.
How much time
It's kind of like if you were in a
30 minutes. And then I'm going to shut it down. 30 minutes. What do you think of the whales, buddy?
Dude.
So cool.
Every time she said whale, everybody, did you see everybody?